Hello everybody, welcome to Snyder's Inc. And today we got a video from Joe Engelman. We did one video of his before. It was like 2 months ago. Thought I'd do another one. This one is TV shows canceled after one episode. Iceberg explain. We're gonna get right into this. Hit the like button, subscribe button. Let's go.
I went through every TV show that got canceled after just one episode and put them all into an iceberg chart with the most commonly known ones at the top, and the farther down we go on the iceberg, the more obscure and strange things get. Let's dive in. Tier 1. The Debbie King Show premiered on the short-lived channel ITV Play, which was a 24-hour network that aired interactive game shows where the audience could call in and participate. A neat idea that was overshadowed by pretty slimy tactics. Viewers were charged at least 75 pence per call to participate, and they were charged even if their call was not put through to the studio. At peak time...
Oh, that's so messed up. So if you try to call a studio and you don't even get through, you get charged 75 pence per video each time. That's slimy. That's very slimy. That's about slimy as it gets right there.
They only had a 1 in 8,500 shot of their call getting through to play. Then, the channel was found guilty of breaching broadcasting code for making answers to its questions too obscure. Viewers complained when the question, "What items might be found in a woman's handbag?" had the answers balaclava and raw plugs. Raw plugs? The shows on this network were really in no rush either. It took 3 minutes for us to get the fill-in-the-blank answer to this. The Debbie King Show aired on March 5th, 2007, which coincidentally was the same day that ITV announced the channel would be suspended while they were being audited. 1 week later, ITV Play permanently shut down, and that was the end of that. Barstool Van Talk was a collaboration between Barstool Sports and ESPN. The hosts of Barstool Van Talk have a...
This sounds like something I'm surprised they only did once. I thought this would get way more things done.
Podcast called Pardon My Take, and the connection between the podcast and ESPN is interesting, maybe even a little awkward.
When we started that podcast, the first thing that happened was we got a cease and desist from this very network.
The first episode had a real outsider vibe to it, like, what if those guys you know from college snuck into ESPN headquarters? Scott Van Pelt comes on as a guest, and it looks like he's been taken hostage, but I guess that...
Yeah, I mean, this is a weird way to do an interview. He does look like he's literally been taken hostage. He does look uncomfortable to be on this show. Like it looks like two guys in a college who were just driving in a van, saw this celebrity and just like, get in. Yeah, there's a, not a good look. This doesn't look very pleasant. But I am surprised someone between them and Barstool Sports didn't go longer, but like this is this looks like shit.
That's part of the charm. ESPN2 canceled Barstool Van Talk after one episode aired following protests from ESPN employees over the perceived misogynistic nature of Barstool's content. Van Talk's host Big Cat said after the cancellation, "We're very disappointed. There's no sugarcoating it. It fucking sucks. But look on the bright side. Maybe they got to keep the van." Viva Laughlin was produced by and starred Hugh Jackman. It was a CBS musical based on the BBC series Blackpool. It's weird. I don't know what else to say. Please allow me to introduce myself. Being that it's a musical, characters would spontaneously break into song, which is fine, but they also play the original song, vocals and everything, right on top of it. So it ends up feeling like we're watching a rough draft that they weren't supposed to air. Doesn't help that the characters singing and the original vocals are never perfectly synced up. I'm watching and waiting for it to happen like a sneeze that never comes. But believe it or not, the musical numbers weren't the big flop here. Majority of the negative reviews criticized the plot, the dialogue, and the acting, so
everything else, like, no, the music's fine, it's just the people in it suck, the board of the show sucks, the way they speak sucks, just the entire show sucks. That's the problem, not the music. Just everything else.
Basically everything about this was bad. CBS canceled the series a few days after airing 2 episodes, which was still longer than Australia's 9 network gave it, who canceled the show after just 1 episode. Hugh Jackman's career would never pan out. The Hasselhoffs was an A&E reality series following David Hasselhoff, with the main storyline
show about the Hasselhoffs. Didn't think that was needed. That probably a reason.
Revolving around Hasselhoff's daughters and their quest for pop stardom. The subject matter was just kinda but the production value is also just kinda
Come on down here.
Traffic jam was 10 miles long.
Boom, 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 boom. And I can't stop.
All right, that's perfect.
Are the daughters kind of glad that the show got canceled? No disrespect, I just know I wouldn't come out of a show like this without feeling embarrassed by my teenage self. I don't know, I'm just trying to find a silver lining here. The first 2 episodes aired back to back on the same night, and 5 days later, the network confirmed that the Hoff was off, likely due to low ratings. In 1996, Stephen Bochco created a sitcom spin-off of NYPD Blue called Public Morals, which has a tagline threatening viewers that anything you laugh at can and will be used against you. Maybe there was hope that the fan...
What the fuck type of thought process? Who put that there? And thought that was a good idea. It's like, yeah, anything you laugh at can and will be used against you. Watch our television show. I'm sorry, the name Public Morals also does not sound like a cop show. I would not, I don't know what I would think that show would be, but I don't think I would think cop-related show.
Fans of the successful drama would be hankering for a comedic twist. With an ambitious crossover, they brought John Irvin, a character from NYPD Blue, into Public Morals. The original pilot was scrapped because of vulgar language, but even a second attempt at the pilot wasn't enough to get it right, and the whole series was scrapped after only being on air for 1 episode. And when Public Morals was canceled, the John Irvin character returned to NYPD Blue as it continued for another decade through 2005. Good for them. The Herman Kane Show was a conservative talk show on Newsmax TV, hosted by Republican presidential candidate Herman Kane. Only one...
I mean, what do you expect? These type of shows never go well. There's very few of them that last that long if you're just gonna have a guy on there who just... Any person would give a politician their own type TV show. Never gonna go well. Ever.
1 episode was produced before Kane contracted COVID-19, then passing away the next month. Kane vocally opposed mask mandates throughout the pandemic and was famously...
Oh, so like we don't actually know, it's not that it was anything bad happened to the show. This one is just, guy got COVID and died. Oh, okay. My bad. I still agree with the thing you should never give a potential politician a television show. I still agree with that. I still stick with that statement.
He's seen attending a Trump rally in Tulsa, tweeting about how he's pretty stoked that masks won't be mandatory for the event. After his passing, Herman Cain's Twitter account remained active, continuing to post tweets about the coronavirus. The tweet was later deleted, and it left some folks wondering if Kane was sending these tweets from the afterlife, and if he has strong enough Wi-Fi to continue hosting his show from there too. Back with the X was an Australian reality series that followed former couples who have decided to give their relationship another try and let the whole world watch.
You're annoying me!
We all love to pry into folks' private lives, so it beats me why Back with the X got the axe so quickly. There are 4 couples in season 1 whose ages range from early 20s to 50s. Pretty cool if you ask me. It's unusual to see couples on shows like this that aren't just in their 20s. After the premiere underwhelmed with less than 500,000 viewers, the show was moved to the network's streaming service. Now you can see the show on Netflix, where it's gained a fan base that are crossing their fingers for an eventual season 2. This might be the only show on this list that has even a small chance at going from canceled after 1 episode to renewed for a season 2. Although that would probably be up to the original network, not Netflix, so let's not all hold our breath. ABC's
Very interesting thought process of a television show. I'll admit, Back with the X, I can understand the appeal for some weird people of the television show when it was on Netflix. I can absolutely understand the appeal of that.
Comedy tried to be the first US TV series to feature the humor of the internet. But the TV world just wasn't ready. It received low ratings across the board, and the network decided it had seen enough, canceling the show right after its premiere. A newspaper article states that ABC has proven that nothing with .com in its name seems to be faring well these days. Yeah, when are these TV networks gonna learn? Comedy was a remake of a UK show of the same name, and although I couldn't find any clips from the US one, there is a video on YouTube of the UK original. Within the first minute of this show, you get a visual of a photocopied dick and balls. Then they get into watching some video clips on the internet that at this point we've all seen a million times, but back in 2000 were truly revolutionary viral content. This show easily gets the Marty McFly award because if you fast forward 20 years, you'd see that reaction videos are being consumed by the billions.
I don't get millions. I'm looking like a 20, 30 people watching my videos, but I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. My man Joey here comment on the one video proving to me reacting to him, talking about how much he loved it. And I don't know why. I think I'm just a weirdo. But yeah, reaction videos have become the thing. Reaction channels, every reaction videos I've seen have like millions of views. I wish I could get that. My highest video was like 16,000. That's my highest view thing. Although I hate the video that has that many. I want one of these videos where I actually have good quality to get that. Like, help me.
Wrong.comedy, you were just early. Lawless was a Fox action series starring former football player Brian Bosworth as a badass motorcycle-riding private investigator in South Beach.
That sounds very interesting. He looks like a guy. He looks like who's he look? Oh, there's a wrestler I'm thinking of. He looks like a wrestler named Magnum TA. That's who he looks like also to me. No, it's random. I just wanted to bring it up.
Wait for me, I'll shoot you. And they're too good to be stopped.
Is this the right show? Because what I just saw was awesome. Brian Bosworth is a college football Hall of Famer who had a career filled with controversies. So when he retired early and began a career in acting, it probably made a ton of sense to get a household name like the Boz into a role like this. The opening scene covers seriously every 90s action series trope, all within 2 minutes. It's straight up impressive.
This just isn't your lucky day.
I guess the Boz's bad boy reputation wasn't enough to lift this lackluster show from the brink, and Fox bailed on Lawless after just 1 episode.
This doesn't seem to be your lucky day.
Today, Brian Bosworth plays the sheriff in the Fansville series of Dr. Pepper commercials, which is easily an A-tier commercial series, so good for him. The Bussy Bunch was a 2008 TLC reality show about a family that operates a local professional wrestling organization in Texas.
What? How did this only got canceled? Can someone tell me this? If this episode's on YouTube, I want to watch this. I won't be able to react to it because I'll get immediately taken down by whatever network this is, but I want to watch this show.
Modern day Brady Bunch that run the biggest event in the heart of Texas. Which part of that sounds anything like the Brady Bunch? It centers
Hold on, let's look at these wrestlers.
on the big
So we have Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, Roman Reigns, Becky Lynch, Bayley, Braun Strowman, Charlotte Flair, Brock Lesnar, and Edge. Those are the wrestlers that you chose to put in replacement of the Brady Bunch. These other wrestlers that are in the show, there's no way of that. But this is insane. This is a very interesting choice of wrestlers.
biggest event in the heart of Texas. Which part of that sounds anything like the Brady Bunch? It centers on Cheryl and Michael Bussy, who each brought 3 children to the family when they got married, which I stand corrected, is totally like the Brady Bunch. The Bussy clan is struggling to keep their tight-knit family together while also keeping their business afloat. A lot of
I'm sorry, I saw if you put this on, if you did this with a actual, like, known wrestling company, like, sponsoring and putting production, this actually would, I'm shocked this didn't get viewership. I'm actually shocked. I felt like the right thing, this would get viewership. That's actually shocking to me.
Reviews state that the immaturity exhibited by some of the grown children in the family makes the series more annoying than inspirational. The reality show didn't make it past the opening bell and was...
That's so disappointing. I actually think, because there was potential with that. There was actually potential with that. That is actually disappointing.
Canceled after its 2-episode premiere night. Ahora la Mundial was a football talk show on Telecinco that was supposed to air after Spain's matches in the 2018 FIFA World Cup, but it was heavily criticized for relying on panelists that had zero affiliation to sports or sports journalism. I assume that the American version of this would be an NFL talk show hosted by James Corden.
I've never watched an NFL football game.
When Spain's former head coach heard details of the show, he refused to go on air via satellite. That major red flag was a sign of things to come. Telecinco dropped the show after the premiere faced negative responses and poor ratings. Spain would ultimately get eliminated in the round of 16. It just wasn't meant to be. Secret Talents of the Stars featured celebrities competing against one another in a talent show, revealing hidden talents that are unrelated to their professions. Viewers would then vote for the most talented celebrity during the episode, and the top 2 vote getters would move on to the next episode. But plot twist, there would be no next episode. The premiere was a massive flop, causing CBS to nix the reality game show before a part 2 could ever go down. Here you'll see George Takei singing a country song, then this acid-washed Simon Cowell impersonator joked that he looked like one of the main characters in Brokeback Mountain. Takei, who is openly gay, handled this cringe moment with complete professionalism, later admitting in an interview to being offended.
You know, it's your voice that I think kind of sucked. You're gonna have to find a way to kind of de-suckify your voice.
By the end, all of the judges unanimously agreed that the best performances were Clint Black and Maya, only for America's vote to come back with the winners of Sacha Cohen and Clint Black, illustrating a poetic disconnect between show and audience. Tier 3. Who's Who's was a panel quiz show aired on CBS in 1951, featuring celebrity panelists who would have to figure out which of the 3 male contestants were married to which of the 3 female contestants. Sounds like a perfectly fun concept. This is basically the premise of most cut videos on YouTube, and those do numbers. A lot would have had to go wrong to mess this up, and a lot did. For starters, as a budget-saving strategy, producers decided to try a new filming technique, combining recorded audio tapes and still photos, then flipping through the photos to simulate a motion picture. With every photo flip,
I don't know if there's a show, like, concept like this today, because it would work and it would get views. What I will say, though, is their new filming strategy was doomed when they started to do it. Fucking doomed from the beginning.
reversing any advancements to the medium up to that point and landing all the way back to Muybridge's Horse in Motion. Behind the scenes, it was just as messy. They brought in a celebrity baseball player for the show who disappeared while backstage when he was supposed to come on. They found him with an employee listening to a Yankee game on the radio. When he finally got on stage, the panelists still failed to correctly identify him and his wife. Critics kinda hated it, said the program was too cheap, the panelists sucked at the game, and the host looked uncomfortable. Maybe that last part was a result of the still photo strategy. If it was, I can relate. I've ruined every group photo I've ever been in. Some said the show was the worst ever to hit television and a miserable flop. Today, all footage of Who's Who's seems to have been lost, which is funny because technically there was never any footage, but I digress. And with this program, so did television. Originally a popular web series on MySpace, Quarter Life follows a group of artists who are coming of age in the digital generation. NBC acquired the rights to air Quarter Life after its first season climbed to become the third highest viewed scripted series in MySpace history. The hope was this hit web series would hold down the fort for NBC during the 2008 writers' strike, but that online success did not end up translating for television. The show premiered during the Democratic primary debate between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Quarter Life's ratings were so bad, NBC announced that the series would be canceled after only one episode and aired the rest of the show on Bravo a couple weeks later. Thanks, Obama. The Rich List game show claimed to be the only show in the world where there is no limit to how rich you can get. But Fox backpedaled on that real quick. The show was canceled 2 days after its premiere after rating poorly in comparison to its slot competitors Lost and Criminal Minds. Nobody's competing with Lost and Criminal Minds. The Rich List game concept was two teams in soundproof booths would be given a category like James Bond movies, and they would race to create as long a list of movies as possible. This review on IMDb said it was one of the best game shows I have ever seen and was clearly written by a spouse of one of the producers. Folks claim online that it was canceled to get out of paying the contestants their winnings. I didn't find any confirmation on that, but I would never put something like that past a TV network. So I'll say the reason the Rich List was canceled was because it was the only show in the world where there is no limit to how rich you can get, and there is no way Fox would let that slide. Breaking Boston was a reality show produced by Mark Wahlberg for A&E in 2014.
Well, he shouldn't be doing TV shows and come up with TV show ideas. So that doomed when it began.
About 4 young women working to change their lives in the city of Boston.
We definitely became really good friends.
Val is very outspoken, but she's also very real.
Why did they all sound like they were just pulled out of bed to do this?
That's fucking tired. They had to deal with people. Let me tell you something, there was nothing more tiring than talking to people. And if I had a camera in front of my face telling me what to do, I might be tired and not want to talk to you people either.
There is such a lack of any sort of drama in these clips.
But sometimes she doesn't have that filter.
She says sometimes she doesn't have a filter, and then you cut to a clip of her just walking down the street. This is where you show her not having a filter.
We want to kill each other because it's different personalities in the same room.
This friend group has the most normal friendship. There isn't anything TV worthy in here. E, and I were all on the same page here because they stopped airing the series after the first episode and
But they also look so why do they also, here was my request. It's just a little request. Can you show any sort of emotion? Anything. Besides just, I just sit we're all talking to each other at the table. There's no filter. It's just, she has no filter, just fucking an emotion. Stop being fucking AIs. What the hell?
Released the rest of them on their website later on. The first TV show in US history to be canceled after 1 episode was the 1948 CBS variety show, The Dennis James Carnival, which featured singing, dancing, and comedy acts, all with the premise that the host, Dennis James, had inherited a carnival from his uncle and is just trying to keep the whole thing from falling apart. Dennis's efforts were all in vain, unfortunately, as reactions to the show were largely negative, and its sponsor, General Electric, wasn't a fan of being associated with the carnival part of the Dennis James Carnival. Plus, the show that followed it was also a vaudeville-like program called Toast of the Town, and Toast's sponsor, Emerson Radio, didn't think it was a good idea to have back-to-back shows of the same style, and they protested the whole thing. Goes to show that even 70 years ago, corporate entities would get in the way of creative works of genius. Sorry about your show, Dennis. Best of luck with your uncle's carnival. Videos After Dark was a clip show based on America's Funniest Home Videos, but with an adult twist. Basically, AFV had decades.
Yeah, this was never gonna go far. This one was never gonna go far from the beginning, because the TV networks aren't gonna approve this, even if you call it After Dark after it.
Of archived home videos that were too inappropriate for that show, so they made a new show out of them. Comedy legend Bob Saget, who originally hosted America's Funniest Home Videos, returned to ABC to host Videos After Dark as well. But this was doomed to fail before it even started. There was another show in Australia that did the exact same thing, taking an adult spin on Australia's funniest home video show and making Australia's naughtiest home videos. It was a colossal failure. It didn't even make it through 1 episode. It was taken off the air partway through the premiere. Which begs the question, what are we doing? Stop doing this show! The very first clip of Videos After Dark is a toddler eating what looks like poop out of their diaper. At least Videos After Dark made it all the way through its 2-episode premiere night, but that's about as far as it got before the lights were shut off. As for why it was canceled after 1 episode, I don't know. ABC never made any mention of the show after its premiere, and even removed the 2 aired episodes from its website and Hulu. And there are 12 other episodes that have never been released. Tier 4. Youre In The Picture was a panel show on CBS starring Jackie Gleason, where celebrities would stick their heads into life-sized recreations of famous scenes and try to figure out what scene they were in. Sort of like the premise of the guessing game Headbands, which gave us legendary moments like the Wicked Witch of the East, bro! But this one didn't hit with viewers. There is 0 natural laughter from the live studio audience.
Am I an individual?
Well, you couldn't be a crowd. That's a cinch.
Well, I am an individual.
The premiere got such bad reviews that Gleason used the show's time slot the following week to apologize, agreeing that it was, without a doubt, the biggest bomb in history. He spent the entire 30 minutes deconstructing how bad the show was and even incorporated live commercials in. One could say this was the world's first apology video. Time magazine later cited Youre In The Picture.
That's actually amazing. So he stood there for a half hour next week and just completely buried the show without a sentence. He dismantled every nook and cranny of it. That is amazing. I wish more TV shows would do that.
as one piece of evidence that the 1961 TV season was the worst in the 13-year history of US network television. But Gleason's apology episode was better received than the premiere, and they ended up using the rest of his contract to revive the Jackie Gleason show. A commenter on YouTube wrote, "Just goes to prove if you commit the biggest blunder in history but own up to it with grace and humor, you can get away with anything." ABC's 2006 sitcom Emily's Reasons Why Not starred Heather Graham as Emily, an editor of self-help books who is unable to find success in romance. That lack of success seems to be self-referential with this show, as it was canceled by ABC after one airing. ABC put a ton of stake into this show, dropping millions into the production, and considered it a vital part of their post-football season Monday night schedule. If it was so important to them, you'd think that they would have read the script for the pilot after signing off on it, but apparently they didn't. From what I've seen of the show, it's just not funny, but the show is likely pulled in part because of its offensive portrayals of gay stereotypes. This jujitsu scene...
It's like the gayest sport there is.
It's like the gayest sport there is.
Very gay behavior.
Gay.
Gayness.
Gay man.
Gay.
The cancellation of this show happened so fast, E! Entertainment Magazine ran a cover story about it after it was already pulled from the network. The Exticles was a planned spin-off of Adult Swim's animated series Frisky Dingo, following the private army of superhero Awesome X, but Adult Swim wouldn't provide the necessary funding of any episodes beyond the first two. Around the same time, the production company that made the show, 7030 Productions, closed down. The 2-episode premiere night was the only...
There was so much wrong with that. So the network would be like, we'll give you a budget for 2 episodes. After that, we ain't paid for shit. And then the network is the people who produced it closed down, and then now it was fucking doomed.
Only time the Exticles would be aired, and the show was canceled afterwards. The following year, the show creators would go on to make the hit series Archer, so it all kind of worked out. Korgoth of Barbaria was an unsold TV pilot for Adult Swim set in the post-apocalyptic New Dark Age about a Conan-like barbarian warrior, and made by Aaron Springer, who worked on some classics like Dexter's Laboratory, Samurai Jack, and SpongeBob. It was aired in June of 2006 to high ratings from viewers and critics, which led to Adult Swim announcing a couple weeks later that it was officially picked up, but that never happened. And eventually Adult Swim ran another bumper listing shows that were not picked up and why, which is a level of transparency that I can respect. Korgoth was in that list with the explanation as too expensive. The Adult Swim website would later add an intro graphic with the words, "You couldn't handle more than one anyway." Adult Swim has since re-aired the pilot a few times, most recently in 2019, but never with the context that it's coming back. Channel 4's Host the Week was to bring in a new celebrity presenter every episode who is guided through a series of unscripted performances with a group of improv comedians. Props to anybody that signed up for being a host on this, because being thrown on television without any idea of what's going on is on my list of nightmares. Channel 4 didn't feel the same because they were really hyping this thing up. When announcing Host the Week, they said, "This hilarious and topical hybrid show will offer a unique televisual experience for viewers." Yeah, that didn't happen. Viewers called it unwatchable, and the ratings bombed, down more than 60% the usual.
Yeah, because to get people who don't know what the heck's going on and have to just go with a bunch of bunch of improv comedians, doesn't work. Because they may not have improv skills. You gotta make sure the person has improv skills that can bounce off people well. Like, I have good improv skills. The problem is my improv skills aren't meant for TV. I get shut down very quickly because I just swear easily. So down 60%, yeah. So that thing is fucking bombed.
Usual viewers for that time slot. Channel 4 saw everything they needed to see and dropped the show right after, scrapping production for the second.
I think like every TV network, once it fails, we're like, yeah, we kind of felt it wasn't gonna work anyways. It was just, we knew it wasn't. Yeah, we knew it was not a great idea. Like, they just kind of go pretend like they knew all along.
Second and third episodes. After announcing its cancellation, a Channel 4 spokesperson explained, "We're brave enough to take risks with innovative program ideas, but also to acknowledge they don't all work and move on." The blame has to go entirely to the network for building a show's premise all around leaving your guest presenter totally unprepared and helpless. Peter Powers, the world's funniest hypnotist, is on a mission of mischief as he brings his wicked ways to the new series, Mesmerized. Sounds cool, tell me more. The main attraction for the premiere featured a 23-year-old getting convinced to marry an alpaca. Okay. In the following unreleased episode, Peter convinces two friends that they're long-term lesbian lovers and the pair legally marry. What's up with this dude and wanting to marry people non-consensually?
What are you doing? Just look at that. I don't know what's screaming. Yes, it is.
Why would I ever want to be in the same room as a guy with this much power? I believe anyone who buys a ticket to one of this guy's shows is in grave danger. Read the description of episode 1. It doesn't matter where you are, Peter Powers and his hypnotized mischief makers can pop up anywhere. This guy must be stopped. I'm not sure why the show got pulled after one episode. Sounds like the ratings for the premiere were too low for the network, but I
mean, in fairness also, you know, guy seems kind of weird. Doesn't work for me. I don't like it.
I believe the real reason it was pulled so quickly is because it was a threat to all mankind. Who knows what could have happened if we gave Peter Powers 5 more episodes, and I'm glad that we never found out. Tier 5. Heil Honey, I'm Home was a British sitcom from 1990 following the main characters Adolf Hitler and Ava...
Okay, there it is. There it is. I was wondering where this was going to be brought up. The fucking dumbasses who chose the big Adolf Hitler, a comedic television star. Have someone play Adolf Hitler. Who the thought of this, and how the fuck did this get past, like, the pitch? How did someone see this and go, actually, sounds like a good idea, go with it? How? I'm asking how. I need to know how dumb TV networks are, because this should have never gone past the board meeting. In fact, whoever pitched this idea should have been fired on the spot if they worked there. If they did it, they should have been kicked out by security and thrown outside the damn door. I am baffled by this. This is the one television show I can't figure out for the life of me how this got any sort of thought process.
British sitcom from 1990 following the main characters Adolf Hitler and Ava Braun and their annoying next-door neighbors who are a Jewish couple. Off the bat, making a sitcom about Hitler is a choice, but this comes from the show's attempt to spoof elements of classic American sitcoms. That concept kind of took a back seat to the whole Hitler thing though, and the show was called perhaps the world's most tasteless situation comedy. Where this show went wrong is in making Hitler relatable. Other comedic iterations of Hitler are out there and well received because you're laughing at him. In this, the intention seems to be for the audience to sympathize for him, even though the character has very little in common with the real Hitler and is more similar to sitcom goofballs like Ray Romano and Doug Heffernan. But this is a classic case of a show that was not fit for mainstream. Regardless of if you believe it was in good taste or not, this would never work on cable television no matter what decade you're talking about. Throw it on a fringe late night TV network and maybe it would have found an audience, but I guess we'll never really know because it was given the boot after just one episode. Anchorwoman was a Fox reality series about a model who is on a mission to become a news anchor.
She's leaving it all behind because all she ever wanted was to be an anchor woman.
Okay. Ironic enough, I'd say it's really not all that newsworthy. I'm in full support of Lauren and her career moves, but I don't think I need to watch this. And America seemed to agree. The show was canceled the day after its 2-episode premiere due to a disappointing 2.0 rating. You know, it's a kooky idea for a TV show. Get people who aren't actors or comedians, who have no experience with being in front of a camera. Don't give them a script and see what happens. Welcome to Kookyville. Yes, it is as terrible as it sounds.
These people are not that.
That just sounds like the dumbest thing I've actually ever heard. That just sounds to be like, hey, you got a bunch of people who should never be on television. We're not even gonna give them a script, and let's watch as this fucking show crumbles into pieces.
Actors, they're just funny people.
What are we doing? Yeah, it's really just a show of regular folks standing around talking. Doesn't get more kookier than that. A part of the episode follows two women in a cafe pointing out a man with dwarfism and discussing their fantasies of adopting a little person. Really kooky stuff. A review by Steve Bennett says, how did we get to the place where fictional creations are more warm, likable, and well-rounded than actual human beings? Sounds like Channel 4 didn't really disagree with this because they abandoned the show after only one episode, putting these talented, hard-working comedians out of a job. Comedians Unleashed was...
It's funny because there are people that do exist that are like easily able to adapt to comedy. Even though they're not comedians or anything like that, they're just like easily able to be adapted, like go with it. It's just finding them.
Was a show on Animal Planet where they tried to make a twist on Comedy Central's stand-up specials, but with just animal-themed jokes.
We strictly do 80s Joel music, sir.
It's wild to hear the concept of a show and have your first thought be, wow, they really wrote themselves into a corner there. Just so we're clear here, this was not a show with clips of animals that were narrated by a comedian. This was a stand-up show with a live audience that aired on Animal Planet. How many quality comedians are gonna want to write an entire comedy set strictly revolved around animal jokes? And it sounds like Animal Planet really gave Comedians Unleashed a solid chance to succeed, airing the first episode several times. But no matter how much exposure it was given, this show bombed and it was canceled soon after, never airing any episodes beyond the pilot. Osbornes Reloaded was a variety show.
I don't want people to get misled by the word variety. It's not like variety show where we all come out with straw hats and Kane.
Right, okay. Hosted by the Osborne family, the show was made up of sketches, stunts, and celebrity cameos, all in front of a live audience. Other bits included the Osbornes working real jobs like drive-through fast food attendants. Worst of all, they chose to do this non-consensual televised wedding ceremony.
It's over unless you marry me tonight.
I'll marry you.
I'm sure they got this idea from our favorite hypnotist, Peter Powers. Then to celebrate this grand occasion, Ozzy walks right up to the front row and blasts them with foam. This is the show from hell. The first red flag came before the premiere episode aired when the originally hour-long show was cut down to 35 minutes. The second red flag came when over 26 Fox affiliates opted to black out the program because of the nature of the show, which had never happened in the history of the network. When it was shown on Fox, critics called it the worst variety show ever.
I don't want people to get misled by the word variety. It's not like...
I understand. As well as the Washington Post giving it the label must flee TV. The other 5 episodes of the variety show remain unaired.
It's not like variety show where we
Yeah, not anymore. Ford Nation was a talk show hosted by Toronto's mayor, Rob Ford, and his...
Well, this was doomed to fail before it even began. You knew never had a... This was a bad idea no one should do.
Brother, Doug. It was seen as an opportunity to shine a more positive light on the politician after being consumed by ongoing scandals and being caught in several lies about his private life. The beginning of the episode runs a news montage that awkwardly rocks back and forth between showcasing Ford's accomplishments, then cutting to the most devastating self-owns, and then back again. I can admire the thought here of trying to be more transparent and open to conversation with citizens, but I also had to laugh anytime he derail his responses with a pat on the back for dining out at restaurants.
And it took me 15 minutes just to get out of the parking lot.
I went out to a restaurant last night, took my family out. It took me 4 hours to leave the restaurant.
Sun News Network announced less than a day after the premiere that Ford Nation wouldn't be returning for a second episode because the network was not expecting the program's cost of production to be so high. Plus, the 1-hour talk show took over 13 hours to film and edit. On top of this, it was difficult for them to find advertisers because no one wanted to be associated with the controversial politician. Doug Ford claimed afterwards that the program wasn't technically canceled because it was always supposed to be a one-and-done project. Yeah, sure. Based on the popular show Laughlin, Turn On was a 1969 sketch comedy show that received such an instant negative reaction from folks that it was canceled midway through the episode. The premise of...
Love that. Oh, on television shows watching it. Take this off the air. Take this off the air right now. This is the total shit show. Take this off the air right now.
The show was that it was created by a computer.
The whole show was programmed in a computer, which people didn't understand.
Seems like it wasn't something for people in the 60s. And as further proof of this, a Moog synthesizer was placed where a laugh track would typically go. The 4-image panel comic strip kind of feels like a meme. The new look and sounds just led viewers to feel disoriented. But its sexual and religious content immediately alarmed viewers and sponsors, which led the co-creator of the show, Ed Friendly, to interrupt the live broadcast and announce, "The remainder of this program will not be seen this evening or ever." The screen then cut to black and the show was never broadcast again.
It was way ahead of its time. As it came across the country, it was being canceled. I mean, they didn't even let it go the whole half hour. So we had a coming out party and the cancellation party, very economical because it was all in one evening, and gone.
TV Guide quoted a source saying the show was just a bunch of strangers up there insulting everything you believe in. Someone also said that there was an assortment of unnecessary damns and hells. Even today, it probably wouldn't be for mainstream audience. Most of the criticism it faced were the same things that people applaud for surreal humor today. I say pop this show on Adult Swim, and I bet there would be an audience for it. Tier 6. The Chop was a reality series on Sky History centered around woodworkers participating in challenges to determine the best woodworker in the UK. The premiere drew controversy when viewers spotted face tattoos on one of the contestants that are neo-Nazi symbols. 88 is a white supremacist code for Heil Hitler, but he claimed his tattoo was not a hate symbol, just an innocent tribute to his late father's death in 1988. Sky History went to bat for this guy, tweeting out that his tattoos are related to significant events in his life and don't have political meaning. That claim didn't really hold up when it was found out that his father is still alive. And it turns out he had loads of other white supremacist symbols tattooed on him as well, and the entire series was canceled 10 days after its premiere. I hadn't been aware of the connection between 88 and Nazism, but I hoped that if anyone was aware of this, it'd be, oh, I don't know, the History Channel. It must have slipped through the wood cracks, and the Chop, Britain's top woodworker, unfortunately got the chop. The Will was a CBS reality show created by the same guy that made The Bachelor. It followed family members and friends of a multimillionaire as they compete with one another as he decides who will inherit his prized possession, a ranch in Kansas. This guy isn't even giving away his fortune, he's giving away a ranch in Kansas? You couldn't pay me to live in Kansas. Forget the ranch. You think I don't know about your yachts? Give me your yachts. Seems like I wasn't the only one underwhelmed by the prize. The premiere was CBS's lowest ranked show of the week, which led the network to bail on the rest of the series and replace its time slot with reruns of Cold Case. The rest of the series eventually aired on Fox Reality Channel, with the final episode showing the prize going to, drumroll, his wife. Who could have possibly seen this coming? I think the only satisfying ending would have been nobody winning, then the benefactor accidentally dropping his entire fortune into a paper shredder. But you don't always get what you want in life, and I'm grateful for The Will for teaching us all the...
I actually would have loved the thought of he would just been like, you know what? Actually, I'm giving none of you it. None of you deserve it. I'm just gonna find a stranger, give the ranch to them.
valuable lesson that sometimes when you want a yacht, you move to landlocked Kansas instead. Spike Milligan is considered a pioneer of British alternative comedy and is looked at as a major influence on Monty Python's Flying Circus. His show The Melting Pot, on the other hand, was not so well received. Milligan plays Dr. Van Gogh, an undocumented Pakistani immigrant, and did so in brownface. The pilot aired on BBC One on June 11th, 1976, and although there were 5 more episodes that were created, the rest of the series was never released and have never been seen. Milligan thought The Melting Pot was canceled after the first episode because of changes in the cast, but the most reasonable explanation is that the BBC didn't like the racially insensitive nature of the show. Beware of Dog was the first sitcom and scripted show aired by Animal Planet. Produced in 2002 and directed by Richard Martin, who also directed Air Bud, this show was technically canceled after 2 episodes because the series premiered with the first 2 episodes airing back-to-back on the same night. The show was about a bearded collie named Jack who narrates his thoughts as he watches the daily lives of his new human family. Animal Planet's first sitcom was a major disappointment. One review simply states, "Cute dog, lame show." Besides this commercial, there are no known clips of any of the episodes today, and it's...
I mean, the dog reality show wasn't really going to work out well, but a dog, any show involving a dog, you can never blame the dog. The dog is the best part of every television show.
Considered lost media. Don't worry, Jack, the internet is looking and we will find you someday. Hardwick House was a 1987 sitcom that centered around a school with staff that are just as dysfunctional as the students. It was canceled after its 2-episode premiere due to public outcry against the series, which makes me think it takes place in a school. How controversial could it be? One teacher is a mass murderer, and the headmaster tries to romantically pursue male students. Yeah, that'll do it. Although the rest of the series never aired, all 7 episodes have made their way onto YouTube, and the 5th episode, Old Boys, which guest stars Rick Mayall and Aid Edmondson, has grown a cult following. Who's Your Daddy was a Fox reality series about an adult who had been put up for adoption as an infant. They're placed in a room with 25 men, one of whom is their biological father, and the rest are imposter dads. If the contestant could correctly pick out who was their father, they would win $100,000. If they chose incorrectly, the person that they incorrectly selected would get the $100,000. And the contestant would still be reunited with their father regardless. We watched a clip of the show and it's heavy. I felt gross intruding on this extremely personal and vulnerable moment between two people.
Why did you guys give me up for adoption?
Oh no, this is
a very turbulent time.
So she wanted to keep me too, honestly.
Oh my god, this is... I don't know if I want to watch this. But then come to find out, the user who uploaded the clip is the dad himself. How cool is that? He's even replying to comments from others. Maybe this isn't a bad show after all. And it's a beautiful moment we get to witness of a family coming together. So who am I to judge? Until I realized that the guy from this clip, the one that posted it on YouTube, was not really her father. He was one of the fake dads. Had her real father not given himself away at the end, I might have won the competition. Wait, hold on. He's not the real dad? This isn't the real dad. Am I stupid for not catching that? Did you guys already catch that? I thought this was the ending of the episode. Wow, I got duped.
Why did you guys give me up for adoption?
Oh! Thankfully, she didn't pick him as her father in the end. The woman correctly guessed her biological father, so she won the $100,000, but he fooled the hell out of me. Does anyone else feel psychologically exploited by what just happened? I guess so, because Who's Your Daddy drew lots of controversy and low ratings, leading Fox to shelve the other 5 episodes. Yes, they filmed the same twisted premise 6 times. This is a special case because the premiere aired as a primetime special and not as a series premiere, so technically the show was canceled before a single episode was aired. This is the actress. She works in Darman episodes? The short films that she's in is just called Poop. I'm back. To wrap it up, let's go through the stats. When a show is canceled after 1 episode, most of the time it's because of low ratings. Sometimes it's because they're too controversial. Money is also a big issue. Some of them are too ahead of their time. One is a little bit unknown, but we can take a few guesses. One of them was because of an untimely death, and one of them was because the host was a hypnotist that cannot be given the power of a network television program for the sake of all humanity. If you're looking for more content like this,
That was one hell of an iceberg right there. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all for the next one.